Hey everybody, what's up? Let me move this back a little bit so you can read it. That's right, and you can see not up there anymore. I'm so used to pointing up above the screen so you guys can see the title. Actually, look below the screen to see the title, and you'll see it says video review of Sonic Christmas Blast. Now, of course, I did my video of my own personal experience with it, but I've been watching a lot of reviews lately. Or actually a few reviews, some from Sonic Rex and some other places. Critical Pixel did one, like I said, Sonic Rex did one, and I think there's maybe a few others out there here on the tube. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to add my own review to it. And to be quite honest with a lot of you, first of all, again, like I mentioned in my personal experience video, and if nobody's seen that yet, please check it out. But I'll also explain it here. You see, when this first was advertised when they first advertised that this was going to happen, it was advertised, first of all, in an issue, I think, of Archie Comics, of Archie's Sonic the Hedgehog Comics, where it was known as An Extremely Sonic Christmas. Now, the reason for that title is because originally Sonic X-treme was supposed to be coming out for the Sega Saturn. Now rumors were abound at that time that Sonic X-treme, and I think even the other one that was being planned at the time, Sonic Mars, was going to be the first games, or at least one of those two were going to be the first games. At least one of those two games were going to be one of the first games, or first game out of the two, I should say, that was going to feature the Freedom Fighters. You know, Sally, Antoine, Bunny, Rotor, and I think even Dulcie, I'm not really sure, but either Sonic X-treme or Sonic Mars was supposed to be one of the first, one of them was supposed to be the first game to feature the characters in gameplay, in other words, allow you to play as them. However, those titles were put on the shelf indefinitely, and the only game that was slated for release was Sonic 3D Blast. So because of the cancellation of Sonic X-treme, they ended up renaming the Extremely Sonic Christmas to Sonic Christmas Blast. Even though Sonic wishes everybody an extremely Merry Christmas at the end of the special. But yeah, that's why the title was changed. Now, its original airing was around, of course, December. I can't really think of the date right now. But it was around, I think, the mid-December. And I remember because I came out here to California when I was still living in Kansas. And me and my dad came out. It was the end of the first semester of my junior year in high school. That's right, it was the end of the first half of my junior year in high school. So I ended up coming back out here with my dad for a visit. And at that time, my 17-year-old nephew, who's now a senior and just about done with school, was only 1 year old. My 20-year-old niece was only 4. So it kind of tells you how long ago that was. And anyway, I first saw this, I kind of was switching through the channels, but I also read through the TV guide. Even when I came back for a visit, I was reading through the TV guide, and it said Sonic on USA. And I'm thinking, well, what's this about? So I switch it over to that channel, and I see, one of the first things I see is Sonic and Sally. And I look more into it, and I find out it's a Christmas special. That's when I first saw it, when I was visiting. Now, I tried to catch it on occasions afterwards, but couldn't. And it wasn't until Disney, or at least the Toon Disney portion of Disney, had bought the rights to air Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, that I was able to finally watch it the way I wanted to. Now, of course, I think I watched it even before, so when it was aired in syndication somewhere. I think it was WGN or something. But I remember watching it for the first time, fully. I don't know if I watched it fully when it first came out in '96, but I do remember watching it fully when it was on Toon Disney, and I enjoyed it, just like I knew I would. I had no real problem. I had no real qualms about it. Like I said, I think I may have seen it rarely, once or twice before Toon Disney started airing it more so during the Christmas season, during the Christmas season, when they would air almost every week, or at least every Friday, a different Christmas special. So, again, I really got a kick out of the special. I really did. I really did. I had no, like I said, I had no qualms about it because it was good. It was good. And like I said, I may have seen it beforehand in '96 when it first came out, and maybe a little afterwards. But then again, I could be wrong. But I do remember watching it. I do remember watching it one of those times and then fully appreciating it and watching it later on. And to me, again, like I said, I don't think it was that bad. I know some people might be critical about it and say, well, it was this, it was that. But you know what? It was good. Overall, it was a good special. Now, you might say, now, the animation, yes, is very adventurous. Is animation based around or based off Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. There's no doubt about that. The animation, Robotnik's design, all based off Adventures. Because, of course, you had Scratch and Grounder in there. But the animation, sort of like on Sonic, was a little different. It was kind of like a blending of Adventures, but more so of SatAM. Because you got to remember, when Adventures came out, Sonic was all shiny. His quills and everything was all shiny. It's like he just got polished and waxed, if you know what I mean. This was more like it was shaded, it was shadowed, if you will, kind of very reminiscing of SatAM, but with a lighter tone. Yeah, it wasn't a dark blue Sonic that we had. It was a lighter tone Sonic without the shine, but with the shadows, with the shading. Now, of course, one of the biggest things that jumped out for a lot of people when they first saw this, whether they first saw it when it first aired, or they saw it for the first time maybe a few years ago, or even like I did a few years afterwards, was Princess Sally. Now again, like I said, when I first saw this, I saw Sally there next to Sonic, and what caught me, and I noticed this later on when I saw it more so fully, without, I think, any interruption, was Sally was there, and what stuck out to me and to everybody else was it was Sally in her Season 1 SatAM design. Drawn in her Season 1 SatAM design, with her color hair, with her reddish auburn hair, if you will. Her reddish auburn hair. But, besides those similarities, the rest of her body was all pink, which is kind of like reminiscing or kind of playing homage to when she first appeared in the comics, as well as in SatAM, which was the episode Heads or Tails. The pilot episode, Heads or Tails, I should. Sorry for that pause. I was thinking for a second, but that Heads or Tails pilot episode of SatAM in Season 1, which for some odd reason got aired last in the lineup instead of first. But anyway, that's what the coloring of her body fur was, because I guess, like I say, kind of pay homage, or kind of, kind of pay homage, I guess you could say, to the original coloring scheme or color design of her character. Now, of course, Sally didn't speak much at all in this episode, in this special at all. She didn't speak at all. She had a few gasps and moans and all that, and a few kind of deals, and I think that was towards the end. But her appearance really surprised a lot of people. But again, I think it's all due to the fact that originally this was supposed to be tying in to the Sonic X-treme game, which I mentioned was supposed to, I think, be one of the games, or at least the game, that introduced Sally and the other freedom fighters to gameplay. In other words, made them playable for gamers. That's just what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. But that's why she was in this. But also the reason she was in this, I believe, was the kind of, I think in a sense the creators wanted to say, you know what? We know fans are going to see this. They're going to expect maybe something from SatAM. Here's what we do, and that's why you had her in there. To kind of give people a slice of SatAM. You also had the city which all the people lived in, called Robotropolis, sort of a knock, or not, well, not a knock, but sort of a homage to Robotropolis and SatAM. And of course you had the Badniks that normally we would see in Adventures being dubbed as SWATbots by Tails. So those were a lot of things tying into SatAM. So in other words, it was kind of a unique hybrid, if you will, of both shows, but with an Adventures, but with a design based off Adventures. And you got to expect that, though. You see, you got to remember, the last episode of Season 2, Robotnik was defeated, and yeah, it left us on a cliffhanger. But, who would you rather have be someone that's trying to sabotage Christmas? A Robotnik from SatAM or a Robotnik from Adventures? Who's the better choice? Well, if you would use, let's say, the SatAM Robotnik, yeah, there might be a reason and everything, make it a little bit more special feature-length wise, like Ben Hurst once said. Give it a feature-length-like quality. But then again, you have the choice of let's use this Robotnik because he's an egomaniac, bumbling fool that would only want to ruin Christmas to make it special for himself. You kind of get the idea? Anyway, getting back on topic though. Well, I am on topic. What am I talking about? But anyway, to me, I'll be honest, I like the SatAM Robotnik, especially the second season, because they did try to make him more humorous and more comedic, and that probably would have fit better, or would have fit just as well. But I definitely agree that going with the Adventures version of Robotnik does make sense. Because at least it shows, because it's more of a comedic kind of deal with him. And I hate to say it fits better. I know some people may disagree with that, but it's just my opinion. The special overall is, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, is pretty good. I have no, like I said, and I know I'm repeating myself here, I have no qualms about it. I have nothing against it. And I like how it's ironic how Sally, one of the gifts Sally gave Sonic the year before in the special, is one of the reasons he saves Christmas in this special. I like that. And I like how it kind of shows that, okay, her and Sonic every year it seems to agree, always every year or every Christmas always seem to agree that, oh, we don't have to get each other's presents. We don't have to do this, we don't have to do that. We don't have to get no presents for each other. But what happens? Obviously it shows that, well, Sally can't keep her word and she ends up getting presents for him and vice versa, as you see in the special. And it kind of does acknowledge the relationship the two have, because Sonic does kiss her with the mistletoe. Does have mistletoe and he kisses her on the forehead. But anyway, that's a unique perspective, at least again with that subtle hint there. Like the no presents kind of deal, that kind of shows that, okay, there's a relationship there. If they don't need presents, they just need each other. That's good. But then, of course, you have the mistletoe. It does show some references and give reference to the SatAM thing. And that's why, as I said, it's a unique hybrid of both shows. It's a unique hybrid just done in the Adventures style, using the Adventures Robotnik as well as his minions and stuff like that. Again, though, I understand, like I say, some people do knock it because they felt it wasn't that good. But I think the reason is because you would expect to see more than just Sally in there. You'd probably expect to see someone like Bunny or Rhoda or Antoine or even Dulcie in the series, or even Uncle Chuck. And that's understandable. Hold on for a second. I'll be